I'd like to welcome everyone to the conversation where we talk about everything Cowboys. My favorite team, your favorite team, America's team. Here with your host, Coach Marv.
Cowboy Nation, check 1 2 1 2, check 1 2. Tell me if y'all can hear me out there. Please tell me if y'all can hear me out out there. Just give me a thumbs up if y'all can hear me. Had a little technical difficulties when I just started out. Um, Want to make sure if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. Tell me if y'all can hear me out Okay, I think everybody can hear me, man. How everybody's doing in Cowboy Nation? How everybody's here? What's going on? What's going on? This team, yes, right. What's going on? We just if y'all look at my title, I'm sorry, but didn't get a chance to be with y'all yesterday on the live stream. Was at a church party. Was at my church had their Christmas party, and I had to attend that. So I got a chance to um, do that as well. Tough loss yesterday. Tough loss yesterday. Tough. Um, as my title said in there, inconsistent teams are bad teams. I preached about that 3 or 4 weeks ago. Thought that we were starting to show some consistencies in our play, but we never reached the level of consistency in nothing that we did. We never reached a level of consistency in offense. We never reached a level of consistency in defense at all. Our offense was okay, but it had its inconsistencies. Um, and if you can't play complementary football where you have both of them working, what you do is you overstress one part of your team, and when you start overstressing your offense to try to be perfect, you're gonna have some hiccups. And when you start trying to press, and I think as a coordinator of Schottenheimer, as a coordinator, I think he felt the pressure of his defense not playing well. And when you're a coordinator, you feel the pressure of your defense not playing well or not being there. You start to press a little bit on your offensive end. And when you start pressing on your offensive end, you get out of the rhythm of sort, and then you have some mistakes because everybody's feel like they're pressed. There's not a comfortable feeling. Teams that are winning, that are consistent, they have what we call a comfortable feeling about how they move about, how they do stuff, how they operate, and how they go about their businesses. Because everybody, and how they go about operating and doing stuff. I just felt that when you watching the game, I watched a little bit of the game, and then I had a chance to watch it again. I had it on recording. I had a chance to watch it later on that night. Um, and watching it fully, you could feel our offense having some stress points when they was trying to make a big play. They're trying to manufacture a big play, trying to really press in certain times of the game where if they felt comfortable and the defense was doing, and they felt that their defense was going to be could make some stops and could get some turnovers, I think that they would have slowed themselves down and because they were running the ball very well. But we stopped running the ball somewhere because we were still trying to press the issue because it's that overall pressure, man, that and that's why I always say that teams that when people say teams that go out there they're gonna outscore people and you think you can win a championship by outscoring people, that doesn't happen. That's lead. That's a that's is what you get in these type of games. You get shootouts and you lose these type of games. When I first started to see this game yesterday when I was watching it and I saw the game got to be 14-14 so early, I said we're gonna be in the shootout and we can't win shootouts because I don't think our defense is can win a shootout. I don't think that they have the moxie enough to get it right themselves. Um, and we're gonna talk about some of the problems I think with the defense. Um, and it's a lot of people out there calling for Matt Eagleflu's head. I wouldn't I wouldn't I wouldn't doubt that. Um, I think sometimes when you don't get a voice, when you don't reach the players, I'm not saying Matt Eagleflu's defense or his he's a bad coach. I'm not saying that. But I will say when you get to a point where you can't get guys and it gets too bad in the locker room, too bad, and you're not going to change a whole lot um, of personnel. I don't think the personnel is going to change a lot. Um, it may be time to move on so you can get a new voice. Now you may get another person that comes in going to do the exact same, put the same scheme in that Mac Eaglefus had in, and it may not change too much of the scheme, but it's going to come from a new person, and it may get a reception more, get more reception to it, and it may take hold. I said in my in my opening what the I said in the point here of the name of this live stream, inconsistent teams are bad teams. And if y'all heard me say this, inconsistent people, they're not real, they're not real stable either. Inconsistent organizations, inconsistent companies, people that don't have no consistency at all. They're up, they're down, they're 1 minute they say stuff in one way and next minute they do things differently. They don't usually be successful either. And that's the same way as in football. Inconsistent football teams are bad football teams. And if you looked at the NFL this past week, you see all the teams that are inconsistent. The ones that are up 1 minute, they may upset a team this minute, next week, they come and they lay an egg. They're back to no, they're getting beat. They'll win a quarter. The next quarter, they'll look like they're one of the worst teams in the league. The one quarter, one half, they'll look real good. Then the next half, they'll look real bad. Because inconsistent becomes habit form. Inconsistency becomes habit forming. And those are the habits of bad teams. Now, does inconsistent equate to not having talent? No. See, that's where everybody's gonna get a problem with. See, everybody thinks that talent and inconsistent football teams are hand in hand. They're not. You could be a very talented football team. You could be a very talented person. You could be a very talented, or you could be a very good organization or a good business or have a good product and be inconsistent and make yourself look bad. There's many people that has companies out there, and I don't think a lot of people think, well, Coach Marv, what you talking about companies and personality when we talking about football teams? And as I'll keep telling you, football is just a microcosm of how life works. You can have a good product and sell a great product and be inconsistent about how your production, inconsistent with your customer service, inconsistent in your advertising, inconsistent up and down with a lot of stuff, and your good product may not sell because you're inconsistent. Now, if somebody was to tell us about, is this team talented? Yes. Does this team have breakdowns here and there that other teams have as well? Yes. But our inconsistencies of how we come into games, how we play at a certain level, how we do certain things. Do we convert back to bad habits? Do we have bad habits as a football team? Do we have bad habits as players on this team? Yeah. And you can see them. You can see it in the interviews when we get finished. We can see it in how we respond to adversity. We can see how we respond to success. We came and won 3 games in a row. The whole world started talking about how we gonna go undefeated, how we gonna run the table. And what we start doing is you start to see our team living like they're going to run the table before they even got to the games. And you say, well, Coach Marv, you saying it's all because we overlooked it? No. It's part of it, though. The reason why I say it's part of it is because I watched the inconsistencies of our team and I watched how it hurt us. Let me give you a case in point. 2 weeks ago, we hurt ourselves because we couldn't get down the field and cover kicks. Then I watched last night, except for one kick, I watched us bust our butt to get down the field. And matter of fact, we was inside the 30-yard line before the guy can get to the 30-yard line. They had one kickoff, I think, that they had a good return, but the rest of them, we were on top of it. I watched us last week when they kicked the ball off of us. We couldn't even get no blocks to get Turpin no field position. I watched this week, we come in the game and we play much harder and faster on the kickoff return team. People, that's a problem. That's what I'm talking about, inconsistencies. We're gotten to the point now we got to have adversity or things got to go bad for us to start to be able to do our job. Because as soon as we get in a realm of everything going good, we go down and cover kicks all the first half. Listen, and I'm just giving you examples of inconsistencies. We cover kicks all the first half. When I watch the film, we going down there, knocking people down, getting to surround the ball, get down there covering the ball. Now, some of the time we didn't put the guy on the ground, we surround him, but that's still what the physicality thing is got me. But we coming down the field, cover kicks. We do good in the first half. We get out of this halftime. We go down and do something at the halftime. We get out the first kickoff we get of the half on the second half. We let the guy run the ball back past the 40-yard line. See what I'm talking about? Inconsistency. We can't handle success. When we doing something on a good basis and people start to pat us on the back, we are bound to slack up. And 2 things I look at that as. And if Schottenheimer is going to be if he's going to be successful here, he can't be a player's coach. And I say that because player coaches don't work in Dallas. Tom Landry wasn't the players coach. Jimmy Johnson wasn't the players coach. Now they love him now. Some of his people liked him, but they didn't particularly like him then. And the reason why I say you can't be a players coach here, where everybody loves you and you patting guys on the back and you all, lovey-dovey with them, is because you're in a place where there is so much of this coddling and as soon as you do something, they pump you up like you the greatest thing since sliced bread. That if you fall into that, you're gonna have a team that's gonna give you ups and downs. You're in an environment, and I say this, and I know a lot of people want to get on. Yes, we're gonna talk about some other issues, but I'm gonna say this again. You're in an environment like we in the ghetto. It's like raising children in the middle of the biggest ghetto in the country. You're raising your children in the biggest, hardest, dirtiest, killing place in the country. And you can't be the leave the beaver type of dad. You can't be a type of dad or a type of mom that's calling and saying, "Oh man, you're gonna go to timeout. It's gonna be okay." And you can't be that. You have to be a James Evans type of dad, a hardcore dad, a hardcore mom. That don't mean you don't love your kids, but you got to be strict and hardcore, and you got to push them to get them out of the ghetto. And you got to be on top of them to make sure that you keep them spread away at every moment, because in the ghetto, there's always something about to attack them. There's always something after them, and you got to be that force. That's what coaching is in Dallas is. It's a different breed, and you got to have a little SOB in you to be the head of this football organization, and you got to be almost hated but respected by your team. And you got to drive these guys on a constant basis, because as soon as they do something, you got to make sure that they try to go to the next level and the next level. You can get self-motivated people that does do that. But this is for the ones that's not self-motivated like that, which is the majority of their roster. Because you're in an environment that this environment builds inconsistencies. And that is a product of inconsistencies when there is no structure. And that's hard. I know a lot of people want to talk about Matt Eagleflus. Let's talk about it. I think Matt Eagleflus did some things coming in here, to his credit. I don't think when he came in here that he thought, and I don't think, and don't get me wrong with this, I'm not saying that this would have changed anything, but I don't think when he came in here that he was thinking that he was not going to have Michael Parsons. I don't think that he thought that. I think when Matt Eaglesus came in here, he knew. Let me tell you something. He knew that the Cowboys was concerned about Trayvon Diggs, and they probably gonna move off of Trayvon Diggs after this year. He knew that, and I don't want to keep getting in this battle with this. The handwriting was on the wall. 7 years in, and I say this for y'all to be able to listen. Y'all understand this. This is the same reason why Green Bay got off of the cornerback they got off of that they traded to Baltimore. And then Baltimore released him, and now he's not even in the field. But he was a great cornerback. They had signed him to a contract. Green Bay had signed him to a contract, and he was hurt 3 out of the 4 years he was in that contract, more than he played, and they got off of him. Well, this is the same thing with Diggs, man. They had signed him to a contract. He had missed the season after they signed the contract. He missed another half of the season, and then you got an injury. We don't know. This is the Cowboys had decided, and I say it again, I stand 100% on this. The Cowboys had decided early on that this was Diggs' last year, and when a player gets the feeling that this is his last year and there ain't no more money, and then you start taking money from him. And for anybody to say Diggs was not a problem, I would be a problem. I'm just telling you, man. So if y'all think he ain't with the problem, y'all crazy, because y'all would be a problem. But I think you did your defensive coordinator misjustice, because if you gave that impression to the player, and he's a person that carries weight on your team, you don't bring him back. You go ahead and cut that loose. If you're not going to work with it, you go ahead and cut that loose. You don't allow that type of person into your his influence deal with your new coordinator. And now I'm not taking any sides with the coordinator or whatever. I'm just telling you how it is. And if you're honest with yourself, you understand that too. You cannot have any kind of static if you're trying to put something in new that I'm trying to get it. If it is, you're going to be in trouble. And you will be in trouble from the start. Because you got a contenders over here, the Diggs, and you got a contend all that. Again, this was the Cowboys ownership's problem. You supposed to clear those type of negatives away from your team. So they didn't do that. Now let's talk about the stuff that was just to Matt Eagle's defense. But let's talk about some of the stuff that he got to answer for on the stand. He's got to answer for his defensive back coaches. He's got to answer for early on in the season, he allowed guys not to be tacklers. He has allowed guys not to be aggressive in attacking the football. And Matt Eaglesus, you try to sugarcoat it instead of calling a spade in the media. But I don't even know if you wanted to call a spade. Because if you thought that you were being physical on the back end, if you thought that was being physical, then yes, we got a natural bone problem with you. And I don't like the point is if you get on that podium and you state that something that you would like for your defense to have, and I don't see that in your defense, then I got a problem. Because now I think you're just saying stuff to appease the fans. And if I can see through your BS, your players can see through your BS. I understand why that you didn't play man to man. Last night should have told y'all what man to man would have been done to us. Yeah, we would got torched with big play after big play. That's what used to happen. We could not play that aggressive. We could talk about play this aggressive type of ball, man. But two issues you have, and I've said this 1,000 times. I'm keep saying it over, and people that need to learn this about football. If you can't tackle on the back end, you're not real show tackles on the back end, and then you're not as athletic as you think we try to say we are. And let's look at this back end. Let's go through this back end. When we talk about we should win man to man, let's go. Let's look at the back end. Let's look at it player from player, and I'm gonna tell you what I see. One, the rookie. What do we think we're gonna get from this guy who's coming off of ACL? Now, nobody's saying that this is where we get in trouble with Cowboy Nation. If we draft a player and we have somebody scout talking about how great he was and they do a story talking about he should have been a first round pick and high highs on the board, all of a sudden in our eyes he's the best cornerback in the whole entire draft. He ain't got no weaknesses, and only thing we got to do is put him on the field. Think about it. That's how we pump this guy up. And I said from the start when you miss all the training camp and off half a season, training camp is worth something, people. Those are valuable reps. Those are things that he will learn from. He's a rookie. He missed all that. He's not Deion Sanders coming out of college. He's okay, but I mean, he potentially could be a great corner, but he's rookie. He missed all of that. And what our expectations is when he come out there, because of the hype train, that he's going to come out and be a shutdown. And if you look at him, he did well, but there's going to be some growing pains with that. He didn't practice no preseason, got no preseason games. He's starting off in live action. Coming off the ACL. Butler, we talked about Butler. We ain't seen him yet. Coming off an ACL thing. Trayvon Diggs coming off a microfracture surgery, so-and-so. Okay. Who's to say Trayvon is running full speed? Who's to say Trayvon has not got some hiccups with that knee? Bland breaks the other foot early on. So we playing with a hobbled Bland. Carson's got hurt again with a hamstring. He missed time in training camp. These are guys we depended on. And practice means something. Donovan Wilson and Malik Hooker was hurt most of the training camp, and they done got past their time. Wanye Thomas, knick-knack injuries, and then he out. Now you playing with undrafted free agents. Guys you picked up off the undrafted pile after the season started. So y'all might say this coming to Matt Eagles' defense, but everybody you got there is banged up, coming off injuries, and we talking about we could chase guys around the field. And then they don't have practice time together. How many times did we had How many times we started different lineups in the back end? We got 2 or 3 guys out there playing that went with our team until after training camp. This means something. Overshawn doing well, but no training camp. Always 6 games. Then we bring in another guy from Cincinnati, and we're going to plug and say, okay, and I said this, we said this, they should get better, but it's a flash right at the beginning, but then it starts to work. So a lot of this, the defense had a lot of working parts of guys coming in the last minute, guys are being hurt, and just getting the guys to be there and practice through the whole offseason and come back will help this defense a great deal. And possibly with a new coordinator. But a new coordinator gets some continuity, it's going to look better. And then we got to do something about the secondary. And the secondary coaches may have to go. That's fine. But they're going to need some continuity because they didn't get none there this year. And for what Rebel giving us, I'm saying, okay, great. I think he could be even better because I didn't expect nothing from this young man. We're acting like this guy coming out of college was all world, no corner better than him in the world. And for a guy to miss that much training camp and then get into this type of battle, and you put him in where there's really no mistakes allowed because we are almost in playoff mode, and you're expecting him to just go out and perform? Come on, man. Bland got the same passes caught on him before he got the contract. But now the spotlight is on him, and that's another thing with our Cowboy fans. When we lose, when a guy get caught, a ball get caught on him, or he get a touchdown caught on him, the first thing we start yelling about, oh, he's overrated, this and that. We do the same thing that other teams do about us. It's actually we start rooting like the enemy. Did Bland have a great year? No. I don't expect Bland to have a great year with all of the turmoil back in the back end. When you start seeing teams calling timeouts in the game, 14, 13, because we can't line up correctly in the back end. I see people, killing Murray. Well, yeah, you can talk about Murray play, but there's sometimes we looking at stuff and we so fixated on Murray and we'll just throw stuff out like that play when the guy ran the ball up the middle for a touchdown. And I wish I could pull that up on Twitter and keep on talking about it because he went to. That was his gap. If you watch they had one linebacker. Now, 2 things. One, some might say the scheme was messed up. Well, he had one linebacker. The free safety hooker was the other run support guy. When the guy went in motion and Bell went with the guy in motion, one, why you got Bell out there in motion with guys? He show you can't cover. But Marquise Bell goes in motion. When Marquise Bell goes in motion, either you going to bump it down and say, okay, once he get down, bump it down and Hooker goes with him on the way out there, or you going to allow him to go and Hooker, you going to stay in the inside gap. You don't go outside because there's only 2 of y'all. The linebacker cannot have all. And you've seen the defensive lineman goes inside and they exchange and Murray goes to his gap. The other gap was there for who? Malik Hooker. The same thing that they did last week when Gibbs scored. This time it was Donovan Wilson sitting right there in the hole. Second thing, Clark did a great job of coming off the ball. Did a great job. Blew the man back in the backfield. But any defensive person to tell you one thing about what Clark did. One, driving the man all the way back there and putting him on his butt does us no good. Because now he still block you. He got you so intense with him, you're out to play. You could have got off on him, stood him up, got off the block, and made the tackle in the backfield. But one, you had your head down, bull rushing. You already taught 1-2 steps in the across the line of scrimmage, and now you break it down going right and left, not all the way in the backfield. Because when you do that, you make the gap bigger for the next person. But we so infatuated talking about Murray. And then when I keep trying to tell you, Corey said this last week, Boss Cowboy said this last week, and I agree with them somewhere, but I didn't agree with them totally. Because I said, we're talking about one person. And this is another bad problem with the Cowboy Nation. We want to find one person to be to blame. Good football team says it's us. Totally. Bad football teams point fingers. Bad fan bases start pointing fingers and don't realize this whole team had a part of that loss. Your best players and your worst players. And that's the biggest issue that Schottenheimer have to go through. He got to find out how to be an asshole with this team and get them to a point of saying it's about team. I don't know how you're going to get that out of, but your fan base has so gotten so bad that that's what we're toned in on. Yeah, I get on players and I get on certain people. I've been getting on the safeties. I've said fix the safeties. Yes. But I understand that, hey, we got some inconsistencies in this whole football team. And as I said at the beginning of this, inconsistent teams are bad football teams. They don't win championships. Give me a team that's less talented and more consistent in doing the right things and coming and playing the right way on a consistent basis. They might be standing playing in the NFC Championship game. They might be at the Super Bowl. Because they're going to get past a lot of talented teams. Does this mean we don't have talent on this football team? Hell no. But are we a consistent football team? No. We show too many inconsistencies to be a championship football team. And we are exactly what our record says we are. A 6-7-1 team, right down the middle of the road. We may finish this year at 8-8-1. Because that's who we are. As the great Bill Parcells say, you are what your records say you are. We won 2 in a row. 3 in a row. Now we're on 2-game losing streak. Inconsistencies. And I've been talking about consistency from the start with. Go back in my videos. I made and ain't nobody. Everybody want to talk about firing this. Yes, if you want to fire Mike Eberflus, I ain't got no problem with that. The one thing that I got with Matt Eagleflus that had not done, he had to build consistency and something in his team that he could always go to. And he did demand consistency from day one. And I believe something. See, I don't always agree with Lou Tates and Boss, but I always point out when they do say something, some great things, and most of the stuff I do. But Lou Tates said something the other day. I mean, a couple of weeks ago. That not more than a couple of weeks ago. Back in training camp, he said that Eagleflus don't seem like he's motivated because he's already getting paid he's still getting money for getting fired to Chicago. Well, something you might be right about that, because it don't look like a guy that's urgent to me. It looked like a guy that came in here and saw the talent that we have on defense and felt that we didn't need to put the consistency and the continuity together to be a good defense. And by the time he tried to figure that out, it was the horse was out the barn. And my dad always tell me, when the horse is out the barn, you try everything you could do to keep the horse. When he was growing up on the farm, or where they had horses, he said you try everything in the world. His grandfather used to tell him, and his granddad used to tell him, that do not let the horse get out the barn. You try everything you could do to keep the horse in the barn, because once the horse gets out the barn, it's hell trying to put him back in. And Matt Eagleflus, you didn't build consistencies, and you didn't put your frontline guys out there to build consistencies in the preseason. You took it in fact, say, "Oh well, we got it, and we'll let them sit on the sideline." And then when you got inconsistent and you did get what you want out of it, the horse is already at the barn, and you've been trying to play catch up the whole time, and that's not going to work. You should have came in as a new defense coordinator. You said, "Hey, if you can't play in the preseason and we can't see it, right, then we're moving on." And I think that was a problem, because he went in there being cool, calm, and collected, like, we'll pick it up, we'll get it. When you're a new coach and you're trying to put in your system, let me give you this. Let me tell you this. If we got another coach, if we get another defensive coordinator, and whoever it is, if we hire a new defensive coordinator, and he's coming into this team, I don't care what the talent is, they're gonna have to show me in preseason they can play it. And I'm not kidding. I don't give a damn about we gonna get somebody hurt. No. You gonna show me in training camp and in preseason that we can play at the tempo and the intensity that I like. I ain't saying you gotta play all the preseason games, but you're going to see some preseason action, and you're going to see some scrimmage action, and we're going to play it at a depth, because I ain't got time to wait when we get in the game situation and find out that y'all don't play it the way I want you to play it. And for that, Matt Eagleflus, it bit you in the butt. But some of y'all talking about, I don't see why we going so much zone. Listen, man, if you can't tackle on the back end, and you really ain't that athletic, and you got a bunch of guys that got all kind of knee and foot injuries all over the place, man, the best thing you want to do is hopefully we can play zone and be aggressive in the zone and keep things in front of us and rally. I don't want to be standing beside guys and we know we can't tackle. And then we start getting big plays. What we stopped early on to stop getting big plays because we went zone to shut down big plays. And regardless of what y'all say, we stayed in games because we wasn't giving up big plays. We start going man to man a little bit more big plays come up. You got to stop big plays, man. Big plays are defensive killers. But I blame this on Matt Eagleflus because you didn't take control of this defense and make sure it was right early on. And when it got too out of control, it wasn't nothing you could do. And then your philosophy may not meet. But I don't think right now they're not listening to you. They're not tone you out because we have a tendency, our players listen to the media, listen to us, and listen. Let me tell you something about our players. Our players have been doing this for the longest. They'll take who y'all shooting down in the media, and they'll run with that and hide about their play. Yes, it's the coaches, but it's some guys that are just as inconsistent that show you some one day and the next minute they don't. And this is why you need a hardcore coach in here to say, hey, man, it's going to be my god doggone way every play. And if you don't do it right, I'm not afraid of not to go into the media and tell the media what you're doing is wrong. Because that's the only way you're going to look. You're going to enter. But see, if I call defenses and y'all running all kind of crazy and they're coming at me as a coach, I'm going to protect you until I get to a point that find out that you're not protecting me on the field. So I'm going to put the spotlight on you. So I have no problem with people saying Matt Eagleflus got to go. I don't have no problem without, Terrence Steele and one day they're gonna give us some sacks. That's just the nature of the beast, man. Especially when we go in and we try to run some long routes. But these guys do a good job. Every time we give a sack or give a pressure, we just over exaggerate and talk about how a guy needs to go and he ain't this guy. We're not gonna like the other guys not gonna win no battles. And they do. For the most part, I think Terrence Steele and what they did a real good job. But it's not, and I don't now some of the stuff I don't like with my offensive line, and I think it's because again, we just got to get that softness out of us, the finishing and crunching people. Because I think we finishing our blocks as offensive linemen too high. But it's a lot, man, and it goes back to consistency, and it goes back to what I said again. Inconsistent teams are bad teams. Do I think we got enough talent to win? Yeah, and I always say, man, they ain't never been talented. They ain't never been talented with Dallas because I'm watching a San Francisco 49 team that don't have as much talent as we got. I'm watching a San Francisco 49 team that don't have as much talent as we got. And they got 10 victories. And had major injuries. So don't tell me about talent. They're consistent in what they do in a physical manner. And they got them 10 victories. And they lost two of their best defensive players. I disagree. If this coach, this offensive line film is horrible, I disagree. Listen, man. Listen, let me tell you something. There's no way in the world that you have an offense that ranks this high offensively and you say our offensive line is horrible. There's not. Listen, I think we see spots of a bad play, and we start saying, and then we go to this PFF stuff. But Lord, don't go to this PFF stuff. If you watch our film on yet last night, yes, we run some routes. They are a very aggressive team. They blitz a lot. For us to be able to get off as much passes as we got off, they blitz a whole lot. We caught them and we picked up a blitz a lot. And we ran the ball well. But when we got in certain situations, we sputtered. And that's a product of an inconsistent football team. I keep telling you people, man, you don't have a number one offense and say, oh, we got a horrible offensive line. How that happens? But rankings, money, and talent only get you so far. And it probably gets you not even half of the way there. Chemistry and consistent play across the board. The teams that are the top of this league right now are the teams that consistently give out a certain effort every day. Dak had plenty of time. I don't know where y'all see Dak ain't had no time. On blitzes, Dak was getting the ball off. They were moving the ball. Where we see this at? A couple of those instances when Dak got sacked, he had the ball 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, 4 1,000. He had it for 5 seconds. We act like when we pass the ball as much as we pass the ball, and then we in a rush situation, we act like it, man. This man, watch other games. There's no quarterbacks out there that stand back there at the table. They don't get no pass rush. I mean, we act like, man, that when we lose a game, that's the same pressure was on Dak the same way in Green Bay. And we have won the game, know what people be saying? We lose, we don't score. Some of these sacks come on Dak holding the ball. Some of this comes on him moving in the pocket. The Minnesota is a very tough team to play quarterback with against because they're coming with people from all types of areas. So if you're not sound and you make a misstep, they very fast. They're coming. But I think we did a very good job of, man. We give up some sacks here and there, some hits, man. That's just football. But we were moving the ball. There's no way in the world we could say, oh, we couldn't do nothing. I don't think it was a possession that we went 3 and out. But it was a lot of possessions. We went first down, bad play on first down, incomplete pass on first down, bad play on second down, behind the sticks. We in trouble. Again, I say it again. We get in trouble when we don't play well on first down. When we go to these, and I think Matt Eberflus, but I think Shoddy got a lot cute. But I think the cuteness comes from, again, when you're inconsistent with your defense, you start rushing. And then we start looking at the game. You cannot tell me that Dak ain't had time to throw some very good passes and we even had people wide open and we wasn't moving the ball. There was not a time when Dak was looking like he was running. We went 3 and out because we couldn't get the ball off. I'm trying to figure out and when you get behind a team like Minnesota and you get late in the game, Oh yeah, the sacks gonna start rolling because now you're in a point where they ain't, hey, we know what you about to do. Let me go and see. The running game was real well. Shucks, we ran for over 100 yards. Ain't run the ball that well. Ain't run the ball that much. Third down conversions, man. 2 for 12. Matter of fact, they were 2 for 9. We ran 69 plays in a game. We ran 69 plays in the game, and we didn't score enough. But we ran when you run 70 plays in the game, you posted. I take. I bet you anybody in this league take these offensive tackle, man. What we watching, man? What are we watching? We gave up 2 sacks with Dak threw the ball. I don't know how many times, and we're behind. And we play. Listen, and we playing one of the teams that's probably one of the sack teams in the world where they blitz you like crazy. We gave up 2 sacks. We were 2 for 12 on third down. Actually, our defense was good on third down. We didn't let them with 2 for 9. You know how we got beat in this game? Big plays. They got big play after big play after big play. And inconsistent teams lose games like this. We find inconsistent teams find ways to lose games. And we where we are. And how we start building that build the consistency on this thing. Hey, I don't understand, man. I don't understand. We 2 sacks, man, and if the quarterback gets some pressure on the play, we say that they ain't people be football people, man. You ain't watching no team. Well, I guess listen, the one of the most pressured quarterbacks in the league is Jalen Hurts. So I guess the Eagles tackles are horrible too. Yeah, one of the most pressured quarterbacks in the league. But like I said, um, and you don't have a close to the top ranked uh offense like that, and people say your offensive line is bad. I beg to differ. I never seen somebody say you got probably one of the top where one your running back got about 1,100 yards. If he finished this season, he may have about 1,400 yards if he keep on running this season. You probably gonna have one of the top rushing games. You gonna have one of the top quarterbacks in the top quarterback things. You probably got gonna have 2 receivers that's well over 1,000 yards. And you say that the offensive line, the tackles are bad. How that happen? I'm just trying to figure that out. If anybody can tell me that happened, that and because they did it without having good offensive linemen, I don't I I just don't. I think we got a narrative. We hear a narrative talking about pressures, or when the pressures happen when we trying to drive and we get a sack, and the first thing we say, "Oh man, they can't block." Well, that happens, man. If you're playing against the NFL players, they gonna win some battles. The job is to win most of to win more than they win, and you can't say our tackles and ain't winning more battles than they're losing by far. because there's nowhere in the world you got an offense of this like this. But the reason why you didn't put up more points is because you got inconsistent. You sputtered, and that's the inconsistency with us, you know. And I think sometimes we act like that. You know, you got two tackles that and you got tackles, man, that's playing well, man, and just and that's if anything, I think the offensive line was probably one of your more consistent units on the team. To have your offense at this rate, and then your running game for to have some success most of the year, I think that was the most consistent thing on your team. Everything else changed out, interchanged. Everything else had injuries that nobody stayed together. No, they're not. Tell me where they losing more battles. Well, you saying when they gave up sacks, they gave up 2 sacks out of 40 some passes. If you look at their sack totals of this year, they're not in the close in the league, and Dak is one of the throwingest quarterbacks in the league. There's it can't equate. It cannot equate that you can tell me that your quarterback is throwing this many yards and had this many games, and we say, oh, the tackles are bad. Then we go against a Green Bay team and don't give up no sacks. Michael Parsons got a sack late on in the game. We played Mike Cosby, and neither one of your tackles gave up any pressures with Mike Cosby. But we see a game and they get a sack, and then the first thing we say is that. You cannot tell me that you're watching the totality of the game or you're just watching highlights, or you're just watching certain things. You're saying, oh, I see that, and I mean, or I hear some of the commentators say it out of one play, and it's all they got it. And then, if you want to watch something, watch Lou Takes. Lou Takes do a film study every Monday on the offensive line play. And you tell me out of those offensive line plays that our offensive line, and he goes over every play, every snap offensively. And he grades them with check marks and plus and minuses. Go watch his film study every week, and then you tell me what you think. He go every play. The trenches. Run and pass. But we give up a sack. Yeah. Continuous blitz. That's Minnesota job. That's what Minnesota do. They ain't just Cowboys. Minnesota, they blitz more than any team in the NFL by far. Nowhere close. That's what they're going to do. And we should have put up 35 points on them easily if we just don't bog down. We bogged down. We scored 23 points and we missed 2 field goals. That put us at 29 already. And we could have got another touchdown. So, like I said, we're talking about a unit because our defense puts so much stress on it that if we don't score 40, we start talking about it's lacking. Where 26 should be enough. And our kicker let us down. Missed two field goals he should have hit. I mean, that hurt. And then our coverage do good in special teams one week, and then here we come next week, and then we can't cover kick. Then we can't get the field goal to kick. It's inconsistency, man, all across the board, man. Even when our quarterback, our running backs, our receivers, our defensive back, our defensive linemen, there's nothing that's consistently good every week with our team. And You know what that does when you don't have a consistent football team? I'll tell you something else it does. It makes fans be inconsistent. And what you said, well, Coach Marv, what you talking about that? Because now we, like I said before a couple of weeks ago, we don't know what to root for. We over exaggerate when stuff don't go bad because we don't know what we're gonna get from our team. So everything is high expectations, and when it doesn't work out, we go to ripping because our team hasn't given us no consistent play to understand who they are. Once we try to feel about identity, we go from we play 1 week, we tough, and next week we're not. I think the microcosm of what I was saying about consistency is the return team. Think about this. Last week we couldn't even get down on the kickoff and make a tackle. This week we come down, we busting butt, and man, the kickoff coverage looked wonderful until it got to the second half, and then we allowed a kickoff return go because then we went down there jogging again. It's this inconsistency, and uh yeah, and a lot of people should be rooting for Matt Eagles to get fired. And listen, I have no problem with that because I don't think it's after a certain time it's other guys that can come in to do it. I don't think that, but this is what I'm about to tell you, and I want y'all to listen to this good. They need a new voice to come in there and to get that consistency and to get that respect and to drive home that. But let me tell you this: when you look at the defense, if they bring a new person in, the defensive scheme ain't gonna change much. No, but somebody's gonna change the attitude of how you play it. See, the defensive scheme ain't gonna change. Watch what I tell you. We're gonna look back and say, "Oh, they playing zoned in. Oh man, they look how it look much better." It's not gonna change, but I don't think his words now are resonating. So that's why I think you need to change. It ain't gonna change. Some players gonna change on that back end, and we need some coaches to change on that back end. Yeah, it ain't gonna change. It's not gonna change. I'm telling you, the scheme, and we're gonna look at it, and everybody gonna say, "Oh, the scheme doesn't change." No, the way we go about it may change, and I think that's the change we need from Matt Eagleflus. Somebody who's gonna get that word across and get that to this team. Oh yeah, and listen, ain't no need to change it now. Let it roll. You might well let it roll on out. Ain't no need to change it now. See, changing it now, it'd be just pomp and circumstance. See, changing it now is just the hush. That's the hush money. The hush us and say, "Oh well, we can have something to blame it on." I wouldn't change it now because see, we have something to blame it on, and then we got players that's not living up to understand that they're part of the problem as well. Not part of the problem that they're not talented, part of the problem of not being consistent and being disciplined to do their job. Part of the problem of not being consistent with their effort every week. That's part of the problem as well. See, let's don't listen. I'm not disagreeing with you by getting rid of Matt Eagleflus. I'm not fighting for Matt Eagleflus, but I am saying this ain't all Matt Eagleflus. And when this team start taking accountability as a team, yes, you're gonna probably lose some people. Yeah, Schottenheim is finding out your first staff ain't always your best staff. I had to find that out. Your first staff, your buddy, your first people you hired, they ain't always your best. It's some trial and error with that. Jimmy Johnson had to find some trial and error. His first offensive coordinator was Shula. And he had to get rid of Shula to bring in Norv Turner. And Norv Turner took him over the top. That ain't always your first high is not always the best. Yeah. See, don't let these players off the hook for their inconsistencies. Because see, the next coach come in, and I'm gonna say this. Let's say they hire Coach Marv to be defensive coordinator. I'm going back and look at film of our defense if I take over the job, and I'm looking for what I always say. What I always say. Let's see if y'all been listening to me in these other lives. What I always say when you go back and watch film, right? Norv Turner was a hell of a defensive offensive coordinator. Norv Turner was the orchestrator of the offense, the Cowboys offense going and winning 3 championships. Yeah, he was a great fit for the Cowboys. Come from Ernest Zampese, which Ernest Zampese was a great offensive coordinator of the Rams back in the day when they had the running attack with Eric Dickerson. Ernest Zampese and Norv Turner was a disciple of Ernest Zampese. And Ernest Zampese came back to the Dallas Cowboys when Norv Turner went to be head coach at Washington. I didn't say nothing about him being a head coach, but when he went to be a head coach, Ernest Zampese came and took over the Cowboys in the later years. But if I was coming in there, I'm going to look at film. And what I'll say you always look at, what I always say you look at film, when you look at film, what's the first thing we should look at when you're looking at film? If anybody remember what I said before, let's see how we do a little test. I know some people saying, well, Coach, I don't remember, but I said this on several occasions. What's the first thing when you're watching film? What's the first thing you evaluate? Is it, and let me give you some choices. Do you evaluate the scheme? Yeah, I ain't saying nothing about him being a head coach. I'm talking about being an offensive coordinator. I ain't saying nothing about him being a head coach. That's totally different things, right? But what I say when you watch a film, what the first 2 things you watch. People look at scheme and look at bad plays, whatever. The first thing you look at film is you look at effort and want to. And when I go on this film, and if I took over the defensive coordinator job, I'm watching film effort and want to. I ain't worried about what scheme you had. I ain't worried about if you had no man to man and we should have been playing man to man. I ain't worried about that. I'm worried about the first thing I'm looking at is your effort and want to. And when I go out there and I watch film, when I see people passing up tackles, guys running up the piles, being power watchers, not really getting in there, making physical tackles. When I watch this defense and not being physical, when I'm watching guys that one game they letting guys block them that shouldn't block them, the next game they running through guys like they knocking people down. The next game they come and they letting people push them all around the field. I'm watching guys running around blocks. I'm watching guys not attacking the football. I'm watching all this inconsistencies. And I'm watching sometimes we do it, a lot of times we don't. The first thing I'm going to do is clean house with the inconsistent play, and I'm going to be an asshole from the jump street. Because I'm going to say, you got this guy fired because you BS. That's the first thing I'm going to find out. And any other defensive coordinator come in here, that's what they're going to do. And it's going to work for a while. And it's going to go right back the way it was because Once we start playing better defense with the new defense coordinator, we're going to start smelling ourselves again, and then we're going to slack off like we did with Dan Quinn. Because we remember Dan Quinn came here, it went off wide open at first. Then we started smelling ourselves, and then we went right back to the lax play because we are immature team, and we need someone to rein this team in because these kids, these young men are in the ghetto, and we need a ghetto type coach to rein them in. Some people say you can't do that in these days and time. Yes, you can. Now you got to be backed by the organization. That might be a problem. But that's what's needed here. Because inconsistencies means lack of focus and discipline to stay on task. And we need to get that fixed. Hey, we're going to let me just give you a little outbreak for all the people that's in this live. The people that's been following us, we're going to continue to cover the Cowboys this season. We not over with because we got some games to still be playing. We're going to do some evaluation of these games. I will feel really bad if we go into tank mode because we go into tank mode, then I think this team's going to be in purgatory for another 20, 30 years. If we go into tank mode, we are thinking that we are better than what we are. What we need to do is get into Coach Val, we need this is Coach Val, you may have came in the last part. I want you, since you listen to this, and I want you to listen to my analogy here. This is like coaching the Dallas is like raising kids in the heart of the middle of the ghetto with a crime area. I mean, it's totally crime. You got to have a tight rein on these players, and you got to continue to keep motivating them every day and putting it out there. You ain't did enough. You ain't did enough. You got to stay on top of these players over and over because in this environment in Dallas, if they get one sack, they get one interception for a pick six, everybody's going to be patting them on the back. All the women's going to be talking to them. They're going to be the life of the town. They could have had 5 other messed up plays, but they made one big play, and everybody's going to give them all the praise, and they're going to get the big hit. And then next week, they ain't going to show up. Then you're going to get mad at them, and they're going to show up. That's why you're going to get inconsistent. You have to stay on grind till you teach these guys how to be grinders to win. And let me tell you this. Everybody try to talk crazy. Everybody wants to say things have changed. But listen, people, that's the only type of coaches that have won here. Dallas has always been the hot spot. Dallas has always been the place where you can get swept up and you everybody praising you and patting you on the back that you can get to start resting on your laurels. It always been that way. Tom Landry was an a-hole, a religious a-hole. Players didn't love him until they got finished playing for him. And then they understood what he got them to. They didn't like Jimmy Johnson. Watch when they had the ceremony for him. When they had all the players. Nate Newton was interviewed all the players that came to the ceremony. Every last one of them said they didn't like Jimmy Johnson when they played for him. But they love him now because he got them to areas and they understood where he came. We have coaches. I have coaches that I have played for that I couldn't stand when I was playing for them. I thought they were the biggest assholes in the world. But they got the best out of me. They got me to college and they got me a degree. I have coached players that couldn't stand me when I was coaching. I didn't denigrate it. I went to the point of being nasty to a player, but I demanded that I got the best out of them. But they understood. Listen here. I heard somebody say this here. They matter when they find out the amount of player matters. You know, take accountability is when they find out how much you care about them. This is what coaching in Dallas is. You got to maneuver all this, and this is what I say. You can watch this team, and you can tell the inconsistency of the team. And I just gave you a small point, and people think that's a small point, but it's the truth. You come out Detroit, you can't run down and cover that doggone kick. You come out this week, and you down there before the man could get to the 25-yard line. You done ran through everybody hitting the kickoff return guy. You do that for a whole first half. You come back the second half, the first kickoff you kick off the second half, you let the guy run up the sideline to the past 40-yard line. Am I lying? You showed us inconsistency right in that game. And let me tell you how bad the inconsistency is. You didn't cover a kick the whole Detroit game. You didn't flip a switch and say, okay, maybe one or two kicks, and then we'll get it back straight out. I consider that a mistake, a small adjustment where we weren't thinking. We let that slip. No, you did it for a whole damn game. And then you come back this game because somebody said something about it. No different players. That's what I'm saying. And if you inconsistent at that little point, you inconsistent in everything else you do. And I've said this before. Inconsistent people, you don't want to, that don't mean they're not talented. Coach Fowler, if you still out there, I want you to get, Coach Fowler's still out there in the chat. That don't mean we ain't talented. But having an inconsistent team, you could be a talented team and be out the playoffs. I can have less talent and have a more consistent, disciplined, physical football team and be in the playoffs, i.e. San Francisco. Because you can't tell me San Francisco got more talent than we got. Not with the guys that done got hurt. And that don't always come with coaching. Yeah, we got to get some coaching to get on the game. But listen here, we got some players that we should point out. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm not pointing out players. I'm not pointing out players. I'm not one, but I'm gonna call him a person that I watch, that I'm a fan of, that's inconsistent. And everybody know I'm a fan of Osa. I think Osa is a hell of a defensive tackle, but I think Osa is a BSer too. I think Osa is too smart for his ways, that he feel that he can find a way to get around doing it the right way and make a hero play. And sometimes it works. But sometimes he gets killed by trying to think his way through stuff. And I didn't see inconsistent in his play. Because one game he can come out and dominate. Then the next game he comes out trying to get over. This ain't no telling. This ain't no tripping about Olsen. This is what I see on film. And I think we got that in a lot of our players. See, when the spotlight is off them and everybody saying they're doing well, then that's when they start to say, oh, I ain't got to do that. Because that's the mentality we have that we have to change in Dallas. And it has to come from us. We have to stop giving them excuses. Yes, I'm saying Matt Eberflus got to go. Fine. Because of his voice. But you're going to bring another person here, ain't going to do no damn different. And I'm not saying not don't do no different in success. He's going to play the exact same doggone defenses, but he may twerk a little bit here and there, but he's going to demand that you play it right. And it's about the mentality of how you play it, and it's going to work. And then everybody going to say, oh, he done changed up something. He ain't changed a damn thing. Because there ain't but so many different cover twos. They ain't going to do with too many zones. One, he needs to get some healthy guys in the back end that can be here for practice for the whole year and start the season out and practice. Not guys standing over there with a guy doggone trainer with cords where your safeties would the whole offseason. They ain't playing not one preseason game. Your other guys, they hurt every 5 minutes. Yeah. You got guys that ain't played that we picked up right before the season started, and then you try to build continuity with these guys, and then you let a guy like Elam play for you for 10 damn games, 5 or 6 games, and he went bust a great. And we don't think that starts a travesty in the thing. Then we say, oh, man, listen, man, there's too much stuff going on there that we talking about we could bring and then we think Trayvon Diggs going to come, knee still messed up, and all of a sudden we going to think he's going to pop on the scene and be dominant Trayvon Diggs. And do y'all think Trayvon Diggs want to get on the field and he just seen Michael Parsons get hurt and he know he ain't got no contract out this year? So you think Trayvon gonna go out on the field now? Hell no. I told y'all, man, Trayvon ain't trying to go on the field. It's to Trayvon's best interest for the Cowboys to blow up and people to say Trayvon can make a difference so he can go get another next contract with someplace else. He get on the field one play and he get 1-2 catches on him, which everybody that's gonna happen, and then everybody gonna say, oh, he ain't in it. He not there. Now you got to put fresh film out there to be able to go over that when he may not be at top level. Hell no, if I'm Trayvon Diggs, I wouldn't go on the field. Y'all crazy? But and I'll make it look like it's the Cowboys. And the Cowboys don't want him to go on the field to help them. They want him to go on the field so they can trade him. Come on, man. Y'all got to be, man. Y'all got to get more. Y'all got to get understanding, man. They just trying to put him out there to play some plays. They hope he get an interception because they're not going to sign him back. And then they can say, hey, we could trade him and maybe get a 3rd or 4th round pick from somebody and let him go down his way. That's all that is. Trayvon ain't playing that game either, man. He go out there and tear his knee up and now he ain't got no money. And here y'all blaming Matt Eberflus and Shotty and all that. This here. You don't think Trayvon Diggs camped up told him, say, hey, man, well, let's talk about dissension. I'll take less money, but the Cowboys not investing no more money into Trayvon. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm not denigrating Trayvon. That's business. Trayvon will take when you, I don't know how my knee's going to go. I don't know what the free agent market going. What, you want to take less money now? Yeah, he probably tell the Dallas, hey man, I'll take less money. No, guarantee me 2 years at about 14 million, man, 13 million. I'll take like $4 or $5 million a year. Guarantee me, give me 2 years. Hell yeah, if I'm Trayvon, yeah, I'll take that. That's better than trying to go out in this market out here and get something and people don't know. But I ain't gonna go out there for free because basically that's what I'm doing. And don't give me this talking about, well, he need to go out there and prove it to everybody else. Prove what? Man, you watch my film that I played the first 4 games. And everybody think I'm talking bad about Trayvon. Listen here, man. I'm talking in Trayvon's best interest. And the Cowboys' best interest messed this up by bringing him back. Because if they knew they were done before the season started, the best thing for the defense and for Trey and for the continuity of this team is to put him on and down the road back then. But you did the same thing you did with the coach last year. Held him on for at lame duck status when we could have moved on, and this could have been shot his second year, and we might have been better off than him being his first year. But ain't nobody gonna say that. But listen, man. Thank you for Coach Fowler coming in, man. He got me started back up again, and I hate to go on that rant. But listen, I need y'all to like, comment, subscribe. Coach is about 250 some away, 230 some away from getting the 1,000 subscribers. I need you to share this video with your people in your vernacular and everybody you know, all your people that say this saying yes, Cowboy fan, yeah. It starts with at the top. Yeah, in the front office. No, yeah. But listen, it starts. Listen. Let me say something about this. And but y'all got me really, really out here today because I want to say something because I respect these guys when they say this. But I want to say this. Say this. Yeah, he said Cowboy fans said, listen, it starts at the top. The front office, is a joke. Follow through. Listen, front office did some great things this year. They brought people in. They got them in. But again, I'm gonna say this: when you got bad habits of being inconsistent, it don't change overnight, and that's in people. And I'm gonna say this, man. When you say this about the front office, and I'm not disagreeing about the front office. I'm not being an apologist for the front office. I always say the star means when the front office is tripping. Y'all, and I don't know if people remember this this acronym I said. The STAR that stands for when the front office is tripping is stubborn, tumultuous, arrogant reactions. The S stands for stubborn, the T is for tumultuous, the A is arrogant, and the R is reaction. That's why I said the STAR means with this front office when they start tripping, right? But when we start focusing and all talking about the front office and players, we let players still be inconsistent and say, hell, y'all need to play better. Because when we watch a team, and I'm going to go back to the same thing again, cannot even get down on the kickoff coverage in a whole game against Detroit, and we let Detroit start at the 40 or more every play, and then I watch the same players get down there and they kick the ball and the guy was coming out of the end zone and they were standing at the 20-yard line waiting on him. Let's don't keep talking about the front office. Yes, there's a part for the front office, but we need to be saying, man, y'all got to play better. Y'all, all of y'all. We always in this cancel culture, man. Let's be in the build culture. Yes, there's going to be some changes. There's going to be some different players here. There's going to be some people to move on. There's going to be some changes. Yes, that's in every team. But let's hold this team accountable. And let's get out of this point of trying to find who's to blame. Because when it comes down to it, we all to blame. Even though we don't put on the football field, we to blame because we enable some things to happen. But as I said, man, thank y'all so much, man. Thank y'all so much for supporting me, man. We're still gonna be battling this thing, man. I will be doing some other shows. I'm collabing with a co-worker of mine that is we're gonna start talking about some other topics, other sports topics. We're gonna do a show on the NIL. We're gonna talk about some of the NIL things, about some of the research I have done on the NIL. He's done on the NIL, some of my thoughts about the NIL in college football and where that's taking college football and what direction we're taking college football and how that's going to pan out and how that is going to turn in to how it's going to relate to us as a football as a professional team that like our professional teams. Um, he, I think he'll learn. He'll learn. I think yeah, he'll be okay. He'll be okay. I don't think he did bad. I mean, like what he's gonna find out. And I found that out. Your first hires are not always your best hires. You got to be in that job a little while to understand. You may have to move a couple of pieces to find the guys that's gonna fit with you and have the chemistry. Coaching, getting coaching staff is just like getting players. You got to find the fit that's gonna be good for you. That's not always your friends, but you got to find the fit that's gonna work. Fit is more important than talent. We got enough talent. Now we just got to find the fit to get it right. But like I said, I'm gonna be doing some other shows. We're gonna be doing some other merchandise. We're gonna start talking about some basketball. I'm a avid basketball fan. I'm a Laker fan, but I'm a basketball guy. I'm a North Carolina Tar Heel basketball fan. But I speak and have coached not only football, but I've coached basketball as well as I have dibbing and dab in a little bit of coaching in baseball as well. So I, I, all of it's the same, man. All of it's built the same. So you may hear me talk about some other shows, some other watch parties. Coach Marv Real Talk is a cowboy talk show, but it's about real talking sports. And we're gonna talk about this playoffs. When this playoffs roll, we're gonna talk about the playoffs. I'm not gonna be one of those cowboy fans that's gonna say, "Well, hey man, I ain't worried about it." Um, uh, Yeah, we need to do a video about the insights of being a head coach. It's a lot of this here. Being a head coach, and look what Coach Fowler said, he got me going again. But Coach Fowler is a great. Me and him talk all the time. Uh, if y'all don't know Coach, no, Coach, I mean, uh Tuck Cowboys, she said, Coach, we need to do a video on insides of being a head coach. And I was mentioning Coach Fowler because Coach Fowler's in the chat. Me and him talk all the time. And Coach Fowler is Dante Fowler's um uh father. That's Coach Fowler's and me and him talking. He's a head coach. And we talk all the time. And yes, we need some videos of the insights of being a head coach. Yes, let me tell you something, man. It's a being a head coach. It's like being a pastor at a church. Somebody gonna say, "Well, coach, where you going at?" Yes, you have the same type of responsibility, and you have to coach the coaches. Um, Schottenheimer is the head coach, but he has to coach the coaches to get what he wants out of the coaches to give him what he needs. He is still the orchestrator of the tempo of how the team is run, and his tempo and his direction is how his coaches have to do. And before you can be a chief, you have to learn how to be a great Indian. Before you could be a chief, you have to learn how to be a great Indian. And I think Schottenheimer has put enough time into knowing how to be an Indian that he can be a great chief. But he's in an environment that he may have to change some things and he may have to have a little bit more tough love than um, Buddy Buddy. And he's gonna have to let the organization know that that's how it's got to be. It's more now in getting mindset than talent, people. I want us to if we go into this off season, I want us to think mindset. I know that's not the sexiest thing to think about. I know that's not the thing that we want to hear about. That's not the thing that we could talk about, get drafted and free agency. That's just the hot topics. But think about mindset. Think about mindset across the board is how we're gonna get to where we want to go to. But like I said, we're gonna be doing a lot of shows, and yes, we will probably do some shows. And I'm gonna try to get some from some coaches now that's coaching in high school and other things to probably come on my show and to give us some insight of coaching and head coaching and all that stuff, man. So y'all can get some of the insight that y'all deserve, man. Um, yeah, it's like being a pastor, like Coach Fowler say. Every week you got to give out a sermon. You got to, yep. Every week you stand in front of that team, you got to give a sermon. And you got to, and it's got to be on that sermon. It's got to be on something that they need to be able to take them through that week to be prepared for the battle that they about to end up on Friday or Saturday or Sunday. Every week when you stand in front of that team on Monday, you got to give a sermon to give them something that they need, some motivation they need, some wisdom that they need to be able to get to the Friday or Saturday game or Sunday game and to get through that game. And you got to give that sermon not only to your players, you got to give that sermon to your coaches in the meeting. So when they come out of that meeting, we all at the same verse, the same chapter, at the same time, preaching out the same type of Bible. Yes, right. And we translate that to the players. And when we translate that to the players, they fall in and buy into this. And you got to believe as a coach what you're telling them. You can't go in there and tell them something that you don't believe in. And you got to be you got to held steadfast to your belief. And you got to be able to study as well to understand when you're going wrong, what direction you could change it to get it back right. That's what a coach got to do. And that's what a pastor of a church got to do. People might think it might sound that may say that's sounding crazy, but that's the truth. That's how it goes. And Coach Fowler's right. Every day, every week, you got to give a sermon and you got to watch over the flock. If you're a coach, just like a pastor, and anything goes wrong with that team, any player, the first person they're gonna come to is who? The head coach. And you cannot say, I'm not wasn't aware of that was going on. You don't have to micromanage your coaches, but they got to be on the same level. Yes, basketball too. Love basketball. Coach basketball too. Some people think I know basketball a little bit more than I like football. Well, I can tell you this: when I was growing up, I liked playing basketball more than I liked playing football. Uh, I just wasn't tall enough, and I was a big guy all the time. But I used to handle the ball and play really well. But I got a college scholarship to play football. When I played football for 4 years at Norfolk State University under the great coach of Willie Bailey, um, Hall of Famer in Black College Hall of Fame, Willie Bailey. So football got me a scholarship and got me well name and then got me a job and coaching then I coached basketball, rec league basketball, stuff like that. So yes, I can talk about basketball. Listen, um, to Cowboy, listen, man, baby, it's all the same, man. Sports is relative, man. Mindset is the key to winning anything. Your mind is right. Your mind is set right. That comes get your right mindset, and you can build your talent around your mindset because you'll be able to utilize whatever you got to the fullest. So yeah, so you got to be very yeah. So you got to be really locked in. gotta be really locked into what you do and how you do things. Um, and that was crazy. Y'all just heard that was my echo. Started talking out of crazy. I don't know who was talking to him, but he started talking, man, talking about mindset. So mindset is very important. But as I said, like, comment, subscribe, like to my beautiful partner in life. I know y'all be seeing her in the chat, and she be saying a whole lot of stuff, and she be telling y'all to like, comment, and subscribe. She also be telling y'all that hey, we got so many likes, and we don't have enough likes in the video, and she also probably pointing out that if you like the information on the screen, and you like this video, and you like what you're seeing, we always want you to support the channel and do what you can to support the channel. So if you have in your heart to say, hey, I'm gonna support the channel, you can do super chats, but also you can do we got stuff that you also can um you also can put this, send a cash app. We have had some people that send a cash app. I think so much, man. I had a person when a couple of shows ago, I couldn't get my microphone working, and somebody said, "Well, they feel bad for me." Say, "Hey, coach, I didn't even do a show, and they sent me $5 in the cash app," and that has helped me out because now we got our mic back working. We get moving forward. We're going moving into a new studio. I know y'all love the background here that we have. I know this is but we're getting to a point where I got a whole new room that's set up that we're gonna be able to studio. We're gonna get a little bit better lighting in there. We're gonna get a little bit better focus. You see, we got a new camera, so we're gonna get a little bit better lighting, and we're gonna get a little bit better mic and a little bit more acoustics around us, so we can put on some very good productions as we grow into this channel. I'm at about 114, some videos, man, that I have gotten to a point. I never thought that I'll have that many videos that we're not here talking, but we're still going to do some live parties. Hopefully, the game is going on right now of the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Miami Dolphins. I don't know what the score is of that game right now. I don't like Pittsburgh at all. Cowboy fans do not like Pittsburgh, so I don't like Pittsburgh at all. I'm hoping that the Dolphins win so I can get some of these Pittsburgh Steelers fans off of my back. And Pittsburgh is winning the game right now, 7-3. Um, in the second quarter, about to go into the halftime. So uh again, Pittsburgh is one of those teams as well, man. No, no, they they don't need their best players to play to be grinders. They pick up their bootstraps and they just play physical football and try to play the game. So we just need to have that type of mindset, and we're gonna be all right. Like I said, my honey, Ginger, she said like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you. Please share this video. I love you for coming in this video. For all the ones that came into this chat room and talked to me and put out these messages, man. You don't know how much y'all make me feel good. Y'all are wonderful. Y'all are the reason why I continue to keep doing this and keep going. Y'all are therapy for me. Some of the ladies that I have in this group, man, y'all have some of it. And Coach Fowler, man, we need to talk, man. I try to call you, man. We need to talk about that situation. You know what I'm talking about, what's going on crazy in there. But man, hopefully, good luck, man, and keep on pushing. Everybody, keep on pushing. We will be doing some other stuff. We will be coloring some other sports and all that stuff. But as I've said, man, this season's not over with. Every time we still got games. We got 3 games left. We must not lose to Washington. I don't never want to lose to Washington. And we must keep the winning streak going on with the Giants. 18 in a row. I'm looking for that. We need to finish over 500. But as I said, I'm gonna say it again. I don't care what the part of the season is. Cowboy team, Cowboy coaches, regardless of whatever the circumstance is, get your mind on your work, and let's do it on a consistent basis, and let's be consistently good all the time. This is very key to what we do from now on. If we start rolling over and start getting out of the game, then I can understand that we're not built for success. We need to build a foundation of winning. Until next time, thank you for your time. Peace.